good practice, maybe description. So when I do this, I expect you to fill in with your own stuff, right? And we've got this. You want okay, because C++ allow us to declare variable like x, y equals x, and we can print out the value of y equals x, y equals, let me do value of y is and I want to print out y and maybe end line. So y equals to value of y equals y, and we do an end line, and then we run it, and we expect to see 2. So we can actually, I'll print out the same thing. And in here, I want to write y equals y plus 1. And I want to print out the value of y plus 1 is y. What would we expect the answer of line 15 to be?
93.
You expect y to be 3. We can try this time to say value of y plus equal to 1. What do you expect the answer to be of line 16?
4.
Let's see. Good. Oh, why is it 4? Okay, so basically it's just this same expression, y plus equal to 1 means y equals y plus 1. But at this point, the value of y is 3. So we started with 2 there. Actually, we can just make it easier to see. So we started with 2 here. And then we added 1. We basically just keep adding 1 to it, and we want to see its impact or its effect. Yeah. So the same y.
Does the indentation really affect the way the code is running in C++?
It does in Python, but C++ we use the scope, which is the opening and close brace, opening and close brackets. Yeah, that's what we use to define the scope. But Python it does. C++ it doesn't. Just that it makes your code look good.
So what's the meaning of y plus?
So we want to try something now where it got its name from C++. So we just want to do y++, and then we will copy out the value of y to see what happens on there. What do we expect the value of y to be? The answer, we're on 4 now. So what do we expect the value of y to be? Sure?
Yes.
Tra-la-la. No. Good. So y equals 5 now, and we will say yeah. Post because the increment happens after the name of the variable. Yeah. And we can try the same using what? Prefix. What do you expect the value of y to be?
6, but not sure.
Good. So we will eventually will see the effects of the different types, and of course, different languages will have different responses as well. Right. So give it a go up to this point. Make sure at least you understand it. Oh, sorry, I didn't intend to display this.
So it's considered the before one.
All right. So we want to try the decrements now, and again, I'm just going to start off by doing what we did before, right? So we're going to start with y equals, and we go with that one. So we're going to have y equals y minus 1. And I'll get rid of this for now. And we say y equals 1, y minus 1 is equal to, and I'll do the same for, actually, let me put another, this would do, and put another one there. It's a screen, it doesn't really like, so I don't know. Y plus 1 minus equals. So it's pretty much reuse of the old code. Now we want to walk through it. At this point, y equals 6. Okay. What do we expect the value of y to be at line number 28? Oh, yeah. What do you expect it to be? 5. Okay. I'm going to try to run through it. And so eventually we landed with 2, just like we started with. Give it a go. And if you're online, give it a go to, it's just, we've got the prefix, postfix, and again, postfix, prefix as well, but we just basically went to the opposite order from what we started with. If you've managed to type up to this point, just remember that I've done just the negative version of whatever is up there, and you do it and end up with 2, or plug in a different number and let's see. Yes, if you finished, get a user to input 2 numbers. So it means you're going to use one variable for this up to this point and use the other variable for that. So the user entered 2 numbers at the beginning, and then you do an increment on one variable and a decrement on the other variable. What do we expect the value of y to be, or the output to be? 3? At this point, it was 2. So do we expect it to be 3? Do you all agree?
Yes.
Y 0. The value of y at this point is 2. Plus plus means we add in 1. So what do we expect? Do we expect it to be? Okay, so I'm just going to run it now, and we'll go to that point to see. It's still 2.
Yes.
I'm going to try.
The value is 3.
So the postfix means that it executes the line, and then it will add the 1. So I want to print out the value of y now without doing anything to it. Yeah? And I'll run it and print it now. So we realize that at the point where we did the increment, when it reaches here, it will perform the execute, but after the execution, it will add the value 1 to it. So when we print it now it's 3. Yeah?
Yeah, we need to tell the program every time, like print out y.
Afterwards, if you wanted to have the actual value. So let me put effect on postfix. And I want to put a line there so we can see the 2. And I will do the prefix now. So we are on 3 at this point. We're on 3 at this point. What will be the value of y if I do this? Before it was 3. What will be?
That will be 3.
This will be 3. Let's see. Do we all agree?
Yeah.
Or have I lost anybody completely?
Yes.
Where did I lose you?
at home.
Line 40. Okay, so do you understand?
Yeah, so what
You
is
understand
the-
this one?
Yeah, what is the answer when from the where you use the prefix at line 22?
Let's see. I'm going to walk through the code right all the way to the points that we are now. First, the value of y is 2. Then we add 1 to 2. What's the answer? Then we add 1 to the 3. What's the answer? Then we add 1 to the 4. What's the answer? But remember here, we didn't print at that line. It executes here, and then we print at the next line. Does that make sense? Then we add 1 to the 4, 5 again. What's the answer?
6.
Yeah, but we didn't print at this point. So we finished executing. Now it's updated the value of y, and then we have it printed here. Okay. So we say the prefix and the postfix behave differently. When we do y plus plus, it behaves slightly different from plus plus y. Plus plus, it happens instantaneously. Okay. So at this point, line 40, we did the plus plus here, but at the same time, we are printing the value of y. So here, even though it's incremented, the value of y has not been updated yet. After it's executed, that's when y is updated. That's why when we did it, it kept its previous value, which was 2. Make sense? Say yes with a smile. Good, right. Okay, so the pre acts slightly differently. So we want to say plus plus y here, and then we run it. We notice that it's incremented to 4. So if I do the same and print it out, it should still be 4. Yeah? Yes? So I'm going to try exactly the same thing, but this time with the decrement. So I just do the decrement here, minus, minus. Why does I change the wrong one, isn't it? Minus, minus, and the minus, minus. Yeah, and again, we are back to 2. It's the same. Postfix was 4. It's just pretty much the same, but that's the decrement version. Try the code yourself, write your own version, make sure you understand the answers, and then we'll carry on. Sometimes we want to run a loop where we have something like a decision. I'm just going to write really brute force. So we have the flow of the code coming into a point where we make a decision. And the decision, we will check some conditions, right? So we just say if a condition is met. So if that condition is not met, so we'll say while something is not met, we can perform a statement or run a block of code or statement. And then afterwards, we come back to check the same condition again. So pretty much it can get stuck in this loop, checking the condition until the condition is met. If that condition is met, then we have yes. If I ever ask you to write a flow chart, I expect you to use this sort of element. If you have yes, then the flow of the code will continue. Yeah. So there are different ways we can execute this. We can use a for loop, or we can use a while loop, or we can use a do while loop. And they all, of course, behave differently. Can I get a dog, please? So we simply want to check the while loop, and what I want you to do, I'm just going to write a small code and I will let you do a slightly different version of it, right? So the syntax is, well, if it was Python, then you can say the condition, and then maybe you have a column there, and then that's where you use indentation and bus. But in here, we are interested in using a block, right? So we're going to have whatever happens in this block will be the block of code, and then the condition will be what is in the bracket. So we can just say, whilst the number is less than 10, you can say, or less than 100, say, try something bigger. Or you can say, try a bigger number. Oh. So I'm going to make life easy for myself by declaring an integer that is less than, that is equal to maybe 200. I want you to write a better code, say, afterwards, then say,
There would be an error.
what is it? Thank you for our mental programmer. As it said, while loop. And again, \n. I want you to get this input from the user, right? Get a number from the user. So as it said, the while loop, I'm going to put maybe 90. It's probably going to get stuck, but let me download the code first. Make life easy for myself. Who's the other one? You forgot it's the same voice that said it twice. Yeah. So it's stuck in that loop trying to print it out. Get the user to input the value of number, and then you do a check on the number each time. So in your case, you are going to write, let's say something like you. Bigger than 99. And I want to introduce the idea of an infinite loop here. And in this case, we just say 1, which means while true, because 1 is always true, right?
So what if we put the int number is bigger than 100?
It's pretty much the condition that will be entered. If you enter a bigger number, then it will just get stuck in the while loop.
Like if you put,
can you try a number bigger than 100? Okay, I'm stuck in there. I want you to take the number from the user, and you can say, in your case, I'm just going to get stuck in the infinite loop here.
I like that one.